All right, guys. So, as you can see here on this paper, this is the very first inaugural, the drop. That thing is coming down. The very first episode of It Must Be Another Podcast. Yes, that's right. This is another podcast. Dang, I know that's crazy. But while I will be yapping, I will be yapping with a purpose. So again, the name of this podcast is It Must Be Another Podcast. I am your host, Jamisha Daniels, aka Jam. And this podcast is going to be news you can use from a journalistic view. That's right, a journalistic view, which means we're going to be looking for the truth. I know that that's hard. We're going to move past the fake news and we're going to try to give you information that is more than just them pictures with that big text on it. You know what I'm saying? I know that gets y'all attention and you like, dang. Every time I talk to my mama, she like, girl, they said on Facebook, girl, who is they? Where's the source? So here we are going to be finding sources. We're going to present them to you. And this is episode 1. Like I said, this podcast is going to be broken down into seasons. This first season is going to have 10 episodes, and we're going to drop these episodes bi-weekly. And I know you're probably thinking, who are you to tell us what the truth is? Well, lucky for you, I'm a journalist. I have a degree in radio, television, and film with an emphasis in e-news, digital media. I have a minor in strategic communications and political science, which means that I know a little something about a little bit, you know, or I know a little bit about a lot of things. But either way, whatever I give you is going to be rooted in the truth. And of course, we're going to have a little opinions, but the opinions are going to be based off of the truth. Just a little background about me and who I am. Like I said, my name is Jamisha Daniels. You guys can call me Jam if you like. It took me a long time for me to even accept the fact that people are going to call me Jam. I prefer to be called Jamisha, but my uncle, who I love so much, started calling me Jam like the Teddy Riley song, and it just kind of stuck. So just a little background information about me. This podcast was a brainchild of my friends who you don't see on the camera. They have poured into me and pushed me into creating this podcast because they said that, you know, I have things that need to be said and people want to hear them. So I really hope that you are one of those people. And I really hope that through this microphone and this footage and this content, we can grow a really great community and we can have amazing conversations and create engagement. And who knows where this could take us? Hopefully it could take us to the moon. But once again, just a little background information about me. I'm going to go to my phone a little bit just because I do have a couple of notes. It's the first episode. Just bear with me. You know what I'm saying? We figuring this thing out. Again, like I said, so I actually started my career in Dallas. I am a graduate of the University of North Texas. I actually started my career at Tyler Junior College. So I started off small because I am from a very small town in deep East Texas. I will tell you the name, but it has 800 people. That's up to you to go find. But we not set tripping, you know what I'm saying? I got respect for the hood. There is no hood there. But yeah, so I started off at Tyler Junior College. From there, I went to UNT, where I got my bachelor's, like I said, in radio, television, and film. And from there, I kind of started to drop my dreams of being a broadcast journalist. And that's what this podcast really is about. I wanted to find women who had their degree in journalism, but decided to pursue other avenues, but still have that passion and that drive that journalism puts into us. So, I really, really, really wanted to be a reporter. I wanted to be an anchor. When I was in college, Being Mary Jane was out and Scandal was out. Do you know the time that was for Black women who had dreams? Like, we really had those women that were pushing us to, you know, just really go for the moon. And I really wanted to be an anchor. I really, really wanted to just get out there and get in the field and be a one-man band. But I graduated in 2014, and as you guys know, that's when the era of bloggers were hitting. That's when the blog scene was out, and it kind of felt like you kind of get discouraged because it's like, dang, like you see all these people who just have these big social media followings, and they're doing these jobs that we went to school for. And just because they're a pretty face and they have a couple of Instagram followers and can do pretty pictures, now they're out asking questions and doing all these things that you went to school for. So I decided to pivot my career and focus on marketing, communications, project management, which is where my career kind of led me. And because I was doing that, that was more so the paycheck. Because we're going to get that coin, we're going to get that bag. Because in all honesty, anyone who's truly pursued journalism knows that those first couple of years, my friends that I knew who were reporters, they were getting paid in gum. But they were being expected to show up and be pretty. And some of these markets they were in were really small towns like the ones that I'm from. And there was a lot of microaggressions going on. And they really, really had to fight tooth and nail to be where they are. And much respect to those people who still pursue those avenues and are still seeking to be truth tellers in a time where literally everyone thinks the media is the enemy. And so I decided that my passion was in entertainment journalism, and that's what I decided to pursue. So I started off with a magazine that's based in Dallas, which is Cosign Magazine. From there, I was like a fashion editor for a couple of years. And after that, I went on to be a intern for Vibe Vixen, which turned into Vibe Magazine. And I've been a freelance writer for The Source Magazine, Black America Web, Jet Magazine, all these amazing outlets that I saw, throughout my life. And currently I am a freelance writer for Dallas Observer, which is a independent newspaper that is based out of Dallas. So I took a couple of years off. I also had a blog. It must be jam.com where we pushed out some amazing content. One of my producers here, Jessica Mitchell, was one of my writers. I had some amazing writers, and we were just pushing out really, really dope content at a time where it feels like people needed it. And although the following was small, we were still garnering so much attention, and people really, really poured into us. And I'm really hoping that I could do the same thing with this podcast. So yeah, I think that that's just a little bit about me. I want to tell you just about where we're going to go with this. So like I said, it's going to be a bi-weekly podcast, and every other episode we're going to try to get someone on here as a co-host with me that went to school for journalism, but they did make those career pivots and they still have those passions, and whether they're pursuing avenues that are still in journalism, or they're just like completely did a whole 180 and ended up doing something completely different. I want to still give them the platform because in all honesty, you didn't pursue to get those degrees for nothing, and those ethics and values are still in you. And so I would love to give them a seat at the table to talk about things that they love. They're going to have a whole segment. We're going to have a whole conversation. And I can't wait for you guys to see some of the people that we're going to have on here on season 1. Also, we have segments. We have segments, and I'm so excited about the segments. So anyone who has followed me in my career and decides to look up, if you want to Google me, you can, Jamisha Daniels. I love doing interviews because I love people, because I'm a yapper. Of course I'm a yapper. Not only am I a yapper, I'm nosy. Duh, that's why I became a journalist. You know what I mean? So we're going to have Jam and Toast, which is going to be a segment where I interview someone, whether that be in music, news, whatever I see fit. You never really know what avenue we'll go down. I just love talking to people. I love hearing people's stories, and I love other yappers. So we will have the Jam and Toast segment. Of course, we're going to talk about some recent events and news. And I want to keep this as light as we can because I know that currently, literally, the world is on fire. I mean, every day news is breaking. Every 15 minutes, we don't know what's going on. We don't know what executive order is being passed. We don't even know if we can go outside. But I want to make sure that we're giving some type of current news, some entertainment news, of course. And I want to do a Black business spotlight. So if you're a Black business and you want to get a little pub behind you, you have something that you want me to review, or if you want to send products or whatever, I would love to highlight your business. We are going to, of course, have a email for you to submit those businesses to. And of course, I'm a music head. We're going to have a spot for music. So I'm going to have a segment where I tell you guys something that I want you to put on your playlist, something that I've been listening to. I would love to review some music. You guys can sing your music over. I love to be a dot connector. So say you're a rapper, you're looking for beats. Maybe you'll find that perfect producer. Maybe you could find you're a singer. Maybe you could be the Summer Walker to find your what's Summer Walker baby daddy name? Anybody know? All right, I can't think of it. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Maybe you could find your perfect producer. Maybe you could find the Timbaland to your Jay-Z. You know what I mean? I can't believe that. I just fumbled that. But anyways, and I also want to pour into Black women in wellness. So I, of course, want to do a segment for Black women's wellness where we talk about things that we're struggling with, things that you want to know about, just facts and debunking a lot of myths that are going on about our health out there. We all have a lot of struggles that we feel like are kind of like whispers. And I feel like, being a Black woman, and especially a Black woman millennial, as coming directly out of the COVID era, and we don't realize how much COVID affects our bodies and how much it's going to change as time changes and what it's going to do to us, and all these different things that may be happening that no one's talking about. We want to make sure that we provide this information to you. So whether that means we find like a really cool medical professional who's a Black woman who can come on here, if you know one, if you are one, and you want to pour into us, please let me know. Also, with every episode, we are going to do a fun fact. I love fun facts. So you never know if it's going to be like a fact about like a reality star like Nene Leakes, or if it's some relevant information that's going on with the news right now. I love to drop a fun fact. So, like I said, every episode we are going to have a fun fact. And with that fun fact, I am going to lead in over to who this episode is dedicated to. So I want to dedicate this very first episode to my very close friend who passed away, who was a sickle cell warrior. Her name is Jessica Marie Gillian, and she was one of the best friends that a girl could ever have, a true girl's girl. And we always pushed ourselves to make sure that we were pursuing our dreams, and to make sure that, whatever we wanted to do, we would build it for ourselves. She ended up teaching herself to be a photographer and edit those photos, and she made so much impact. Even though she was from a small town, she named her photography business Sugar Shots, and we bonded through photography. I even did a little bit of that for a while, but my girl ended up getting a camera and just blowing smooth past me. Like, she would make some of the most gorgeous images, and she would make it come to life, like put so much joy in people's photo shoots. So with that, I could not do this first episode without doing a nod to her, and also making sure that that a fun fact is that Juneteenth is National Sickle Cell Day, and September is National Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So with that, some ways that you can help out people who are sickle cell warriors is just educating yourself. You can find local communities or businesses, or different organizations that support sickle cell research. You can find a way to support a family of a sickle cell warrior, even if that means doing angel gifts. You could also just get yourself tested to make sure that you don't have the sickle cell gene, or to see if you do, if you're passing it on to your children, because it is a genetic blood disorder. My friend was very, very passionate about making sure that everyone knew about sickle cell, and she saw it as something for her to put out into the world, to make sure that everyone knew. If that means donating blood as well, that is also a very, very good way that you could contribute to a sickle cell warrior. So with that being said, Jessie, I love you, girl. I am doing this. And you're forever in my heart. So, yeah, that was my fun fact. So when Sickle Cell Awareness Month comes around in September, if that means sharing a post, whatever you can do to try to support someone or educate yourself is more than enough. And you have no idea how much it means to the families of sickle cell warriors, and the friends of those who have supported those people and still support the people who have sickle cell even when their warrior has passed on. So, with that being said, I want for you guys to make sure that you tune in for the next episode of It Must Be Another It Must Be Another podcast, because I am really, really excited to pour into this project. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at It Must Be Jammed 2 underscores. My first one is hacked. If you know somebody who work at Instagram, you can help me get my page back, let me know. It wasn't hacked. They just won't send me my password. I know that's crazy, but I need that Instagram back, girl. Okay. um, but yeah, so I look forward to an amazing ride with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the very first episode of It Must Be Another podcast. And a special shout out to my girl, Kimmy B. Make sure that you follow Double X. She is a maker of the best candles you will ever smell. And make sure you follow Jessica D. Mitchell, aka Director Jess. They are the amazing, brilliant minds behind this podcast. So I'm sure that whatever you see, if you love it, tell them. Don't even tell me, because they are the ones who held me against my will to do this. There's a gun somewhere pointed at me right now. Again, thank you for tuning in to It Must Be Another podcast. Yes. News you can use from a journalistic view. I think I said this previously in the episode, but I am based in Dallas, Texas. So if you are looking to support a sickle cell organization, there is the Dallas Sickle Cell Organization, which the website is dallassicklecell.org. I will also put that in the description box of this episode. They are all about awareness, advocacy, and support, and they're dedicated to creating awareness about sickle cell disease, the trait, and advocating for patients and families of sickle cell warriors. So if you go on to that website, you can find ways to donate right now and also find volunteer opportunities that are available through that organization. And if you want to hear about my dear friend Jessica Gillian, aka Jessie, if you want to hear about her story as a sickle cell warrior directly from her words, there is a profile from the Freestone Medical Center that I will also link in the description box. And it is titled Jessica Gillian, A Profile of Strength in the Face of Sickle Cell. And it's a community profile that was by her cousin, Venetia Manning. And they spent some time with Jessie, and you get the pleasure of meeting her too. She was such a sweet soul that continues to live on through so much love and advocating through sickle cell. And you can read this profile and you will hear about her story, about her being diagnosed at 4 months old. And she'll tell you what her life was like living as a sickle cell warrior. And I go back and revisit this all the time as someone who lost a very dear friend. And again, she was my introduction to sickle cell. And so I thought that this was something that was very important to me as I dedicated this episode to her, to make sure that everyone not only knows that September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, but also those who aren't aware about it can find ways to learn about it, and also can hear firsthand from someone who had to see every day as a battle with it. And with that being said, I appreciate you for listening to the very first episode of It Must Be Another podcast. You can follow me on Instagram, like I said before, and I look forward to speaking with you guys. And I'm so excited about this, as I said before. And yeah, be on the lookout for anything that I put out. I'm still going to be writing. I am going to be outside, baby. So if you see me, say hey. All right. See you guys later.